Welcome to the Priesthood Men podcast. My name is Brad, and I wanted to remind you guys of a video that I made. You might remember when I held my hand up like this and I said, if I find out that this is the real Marvin Goldstein, I promise you I am going to play his music on every single one of my videos until he tells me to stop. Do you guys remember when I said that? So joining us today on the Priesthood Men podcast is Marvin Goldstein. And so I have proof for everybody that it was in fact the real Marvin Goldstein. So welcome to the Priesthood Men podcast, Marvin. How are you?
Thanks, Brad. This is crazy good.
It's so good to see you and meet you and to be here with you in person. I've listened to your music, as I've mentioned to you back and forth as we got to speak a little bit about how grateful I am to have your catalog of music available because, we were speaking a little bit before this and I told you it fits my energy and my personality. I just feel connected to you through your music.
Thank you. Well, music is a connector, for sure.
When did you figure that out?
Well, it's way before you were born, Brad. It was in 1959. I was 9 years old. That makes me 75 now. So 1959, I asked my mother if I could take some lessons, music lessons. She said, "Where'd you come up with that?" I said, "Well, I saw a box that was in the bank, and on this box sitting on the teller's window was sign up for free accordion lessons." I said, "Oh, that sounds cool. I'm 9 years old. Let's do that."
And where was this?
Fort Lauderdale, where we lived. So we signed up, but little did I know that everybody's going to win free accordion lessons because you have to rent the accordion from the teacher, right?
Yes, it was a marketing tactic.
But I thank the Lord that I took those lessons.
Wow.
When I got in there, I was directed to do it. We know who directs things, right? But I was directed to take those lessons. 6 months later, I was actually performing a show in the Miami Beach Auditorium 6 months into taking lessons.
At 9.5, maybe 10 years old. Is that a common experience for someone who starts with music at 9 years old?
That's not a common experience for people taking music lessons from having no experience at it to then starting to into a concert. No, some people take years.
Okay, so the question is, did you realize that you were gifted compared to maybe the other people that were around you?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Not in no way. I just knew that this was interesting. It was fun. I learned the basics.
Wow.
People around me older kids played a lot better. And I said, I want to do that. I like that.
Interesting.
And you can see where it led.
And so you weren't a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints when this happened?
No, not at all. I was 9 years old, and I didn't join the church till I was 35.
We all know the impact that Marvin Goldstein has had spiritually on I would say millions of people over the past 65 years. When was the first time you felt the Spirit in connection with music?
Well, I would not know what that meant until I would be studying about the church, what the Spirit is.
Well, you were Christian growing up, I would imagine.
I was not Christian growing up.
Okay, maybe you guys can tell from the name Goldstein, and so that was maybe a little bit of a joke, I'll admit. But so tell us about that. The world, I find it to be interesting. I know for at least one Latter-day Saint, I grew up reading about this prophecy that in the latter days that the Israelites would read the Book of Mormon, receive the fullness of the gospel, and that would be one of the signs that we could know for sure that Jesus Christ's return was imminent, that it was near.
I understand the prophecy, but again, Jewish families go out of their way to say that Christ is no more than a person, nothing special. It's a threat. It's political. It's just not. It's not something about what you worship. There was really no connection to a higher power almost, because 90% of Jews on the earth are not necessarily really religious. They don't attend things. They just are culturally, if you will, blessed with what Judaism is.
The lineage.
Correct.
Did that take away from spirituality? Is that what you mean? The idea that they knew they were the chosen people, I guess we'll say, took away from the spirituality of the people?
Not in any way.
Okay.
No, spirituality would be defined, at least by me, in the Jewish community. I would understand that to be that we are spiritual beings just in the nature of being Jewish. The culture, believing in God, believing in the Messiah yet to come, is all about spirituality. And we can connect to that beautiful spirit, which we don't recognize as Christ, but yet it is Christ.
Yeah. So we discovered music, 9 years old, 6 months later, you're playing in Miami, in front of how many people?
Couple thousand.
Couple thousand people. Okay, 6 months later. So this is a fast track to, I'll call it celebrity, right? On some level, where you're playing in front of thousands of people. So you fast tracked to this experience where you're starting to have an impact and an influence on lots of people. As a Jewish boy raised in a Jewish family, what was your understanding of who God was and what his relationship was to you?
Well, God is God. So Heavenly Father was not the term used. God would be simply that and no more, and not that. No Son, no Holy Ghost.
Did you pray every day, or as a family, even?
Not necessarily. No, we just would go to some of the Jewish holiday celebrations. New Year's is called Rosh Hashanah in Hebrew. Rosh means head, and Shana is year, head of the year, New Year. And of course, the Jewish calendar is a lunar calendar, so it doesn't follow the same calendar that we follow. But it was just expected that we would celebrate the Feast of the Harvest. We would celebrate Sabbath. Now, Sabbath being a big observance. Sundown Friday through sundown Saturday. Everything stops. And that is the Sabbath.
Interesting. And so Fort Lauderdale, so you were born in the United States.
I was.
Okay. So now what's interesting is what happens next, right? So Jewish born American, right? A Jewish American born here, 9 years old, you discovered this gift, we'll call it what it is, right? This gift and talent from God. You make this discovery. 6 months later, you're playing in front of thousands in Miami. What happens next? Can you tell us, where do you find yourself at 9.5, turning 10 years old, going next? Did you stay in Florida?
Stay in Florida, down Fort Lauderdale. I was born in Columbus, Ohio. We moved to Fort Lauderdale when I was around 9, just turned from 8 to 9. My brother, who's 3 years younger, was the reason we moved from Columbus, Ohio to Fort Lauderdale, because the doctor said your asthmatic condition will be cured if you move near salt water. So we didn't know whether to believe that or not, but when we got there, yes, in fact, he was right. The climate cured his asthma. So then we stayed in Fort Lauderdale, went to high school there. I would just keep taking accordion lessons.
And that's where you saw the accordion in the window, was in Fort Lauderdale. That was in Florida.
Yeah, well, it was at the bank, and there was a box, and it said, sign up for free accordion lessons. Right. So I said, hey, Mom, can we do that?
So if your brother hadn't gotten asthma and the doctors hadn't told him that you need to move near salt water, and you certainly wouldn't have saw the accordion in the window that day. And it seems like, Marvin, God can take something that we think is bad. If we get to the other side, we find out it wasn't as bad as we thought, maybe.
Yeah, no, hey, so I should have asked my brother, hey, you got something else besides asthma that I can take advantage of? We never thought of that. But yes, right. that's what actually happened for real.
Fascinating.
But I'm playing the accordion, okay? I'm 9 years old. I always thought in my mind that it would be really cool to maybe play the piano too. Because I play the keyboard.
Where did that thought come from?
Well,
was there someone playing the piano that you thought was cool? Did you hear the piano? What was it?
No, it was just that if you're playing an accordion, you're playing usually a keyboard on your right hand. Some accordions in Europe have just buttons on both sides, but the ones that we were used to had keys on just the right hand, just like a piano keyboard, and buttons on the left hand. So I thought, well, that'd be cool. I know if I can play the right hand on the keyboard, I should be able to play the left hand on the keyboard. But we didn't have a piano. And we lived in a house where the payments were, you've heard these stories all the time. Oh, my family was so poor, whatever. I couldn't afford to pay attention or whatever. It's just like, but we were blessed with being frugal from being poor. My dad served in the World War II in the Army. We moved to Fort Lauderdale, and when we did, he tried to find a house, and on the GI Bill, or being a member of the armed forces, then he was able to get a house with no down payment. I remember the first house we got was $15,400. That was the whole house, $125 a month. And we didn't know how we were going to cover it. No idea. So in Fort Lauderdale. So basically back to the idea that maybe I should play the piano. Would be cool. But I don't have a piano.
Did it seem impossible to you when you first had that thought, or did it seem like at least far away, like it was going to be hard, or did you just know?
No, I just thought it was it's not going to work out.
Uh-huh.
I don't have a piano, so how do you take piano lessons? Plus, we couldn't afford the lessons. One day, when I was about 12, I'd been taking music for 3 years. We looked outside, and a car had pulled up. This is kind of a tearjerker, the first time I thought about this. A car pulled up. Actually, it was a truck. It had a name of a piano company on it. The doorbell rang. The guy came up and said, "Is this the Goldstein house?" My mom said, "Yes." "We have a delivery for you." My mom said, "You're at the wrong place because we didn't order anything like this.
We don't order stuff." Yeah.
We can't. You're at the wrong place." "Well, ma'am, this is the right address." Then I looked behind the truck, and there are two more cars pull up. Out from one of the cars is one of my uncles, my dad's brother. The other car behind that was one of my mom's brothers, with smiles on their faces. The door opens, the piano arrives, and they said, "This is a gift from your two uncles, Marvin." So tears, my mom just broke down in tears. Happy, happy, happy. Piano showed up. Hard to believe. A real moment. So then it was incumbent on me to take piano lessons, of course, because he bought me a piano. I started practicing piano.
What's your uncle's names?
Well, one of them was Goldstein. The other one was Solove, Solove.
Thank you, brother Goldstein and Solo, for buying Marvin that piano. You know, that purchase changed the world. I wonder if they had that thought. I just wonder the motivation behind that, because the Bible teaches that no man can receive anything save it be given him of heaven, right? And so these thoughts are not random. They come from somewhere, and if it's good, we know that anything that's good comes from God, right? So it's so cool to see his hand working in hindsight.
So my two Jewish uncles bought the piano, and we found out later that they spent $600 each. The piano was $1,200.
That's a year's rent.
Yeah, about. So it got brought in the house. I wouldn't be able to, how we're going to take lessons. Wow, add lessons, more money. But I started to figure out a few things on my own.
Self-taught. Y'all heard it here first. Marvin Goldstein, self-taught, man. Let's go.
Well,
okay, all right. Well,
I don't really see. No, the genius was. I don't think self-taught is the right.
So are you telling me that word has never been used in conjunction with Marvin Goldstein?
It shouldn't be.
Okay. All right.
It should
Continue,
not
please.
be. I went through okay, here's the hand position, here's the chords, here's the
So you had to learn just like my daughter. She's learning right now. This.
everybody else and go, almost families go, I know you're practicing, but is that really what it's supposed to sound like? I
Yeah.
mean, like, you ever hit the right notes or something? Oh, please. And so practice. But then what was really odd was the desire I had to do it turned into 25 years of practicing 3 hours a day.
Let's go, man.
3 hours. And then, I mean, it's phenomenal. So I would learn, still taking lessons from a piano teacher and an accordion teacher.
Would you say you were obsessed with the piano?
No, I was obsessed of the power of music. Now, what I mean by the power of music could change people's moods. The power of music can change people's friends into closer friends. The power of music draws people. Now, a young man could even see a power of music could draw more girls.
Yes.
The power of music, I had no spiritual connection whatsoever with it. What does this all mean? But I
But you
noticed
saw the influence.
the influence was big. Now, the biggest influence was this. My dad would get upset now and then at us two boys, which, boys never cause any problems.
Never. Not us. Not you and I, Marvin.
Not Jewish boys anyway, right? So we don't cause any problem. But he could get so mad on a trip in the car or something. He was just
Yeah.
okay. So how was that possible? Okay, so anyway, my dad listened to opera. Oddly enough, he loved opera. His favorite song was from La Boheme. It's called Musetta's Waltz. You can look that up. Musetta's Waltz, La Boheme.
Bryant's probably writing it down right now. 'Cause
Right.
Remember I told you he's into opera. Look.
So my dad used to hear it, and I saw him smile. I deduced that this could be to my advantage to learn that song. I learned Musetta's Waltz as quickly as I could. All of a sudden, he gets mad at who knows what. I run to the piano. I play that song. He's neutral.
Yes. It's a superpower, right? Especially when you're a child and with your dad, if you to be able to turn the tide like that.
So all you whoever's listening to this, teach your kids to learn the favorite songs of your parents, your friends, favorite songs of anyone. And then you might have an easier way to slip through some of the
Yes.
stuff
Some,
that
yes.
happens.
Some of the walls and the things that divide us, right? And that's inside of families, inside of any group of people. There's these walls that we put up. And so, yeah, music is, I've known from the very beginning of this Priesthood Men journey that music was going to play a big part in the mission of Priesthood Men, which is simply to build disciples of Jesus Christ, participate in the gathering of Israel. And that's the mission of the Church of Jesus Christ. And Christ's mission ultimately, right, was to gather Israel and to bring back together that which was separated by sin and by the world. And I'm super interested in when you got invited to Tel Aviv. How did you find out that they were interested? What happened after that Miami stage experience?
Well, you're talking about at 9 years old. So playing the accordion, playing the piano, normal lessons here and there. Learn some nice songs people like. Don't feel any different than anybody else in any way. But that people did enjoy little Marvin playing the music. I like sports, but I like music more. So I kept doing it. So now I'm in high school. I'm in Fort Lauderdale still.
Which high school?
Stranahan High School. It's
Stranahan High School. Shout out Stranahan.
And in the class of 1968.
Let's go Twain. You know, I graduated from Stoneman Douglas High School, which is in that same school district. So very cool.
But anyway, so I was also along this whole path. I was in Hebrew school, okay, or they say Sunday school. We would study the Old Testament. We would learn some things about Old Testament, steering completely away of anything to do with New Testament. It doesn't exist, if you will. And so we'll learn. Of course, avoiding one area of the Bible, which is called Isaiah, because in Isaiah 53 it talks directly about the prophet Jesus Christ. It's upcoming, and then that is just buried.
They don't like to talk about that too much.
We don't want to look at that. Okay, so
Would you say that the New Testament was to the Jewish people what the Book of Mormon is to Christians today, in the sense that you mentioned that they knew it, but they didn't consider it to be anything, or it was just a made up kind of and that's what we hear a lot about the Book of Mormon, is like, we don't need any more scripture, right? God's word is complete. Was it kind of seen that way?
I think that's about right. I think it's a good way to look at it. In Hebrew school, the opportunity also came that there was a circulated pamphlet that would ask for if someone would be interested in studying on an exchange in Israel. So the rabbis would all get all this information, and so they sent it out. They sent it to people. I went, "Oh, go to Israel," and really somehow that intrigued me. And then I looked into it. And I said, "Well, I'm a musician." And they said, "Well, that should be okay." And so me and about 12 other people got selected to have the Israeli government cover 1.5 years of me and these others in Israel, paid for our housing, paid for our ulpan, which is a study of the Hebrew language, for 3 months prior to the school year, which was 6 hours a day, 6 days a week, learning Hebrew. And thank the Lord that I had to not learn that much of intricate Hebrew, because in music that was sort of universal. That really saved me. So we got through. I get in Tel Aviv University School of Music. The others were in all kinds of other educational deals, but none of them else were in music. I was there for 18 months. I would find Israeli musicians and dancers. I met some people that said, "Hey, you play the accordion?" "Yeah, I do." "Well, we go out every weekend to these kibbutzes, or kibbutzim, that's in Hebrew. Im is plural. And those communal farms back then, which now is more like not communal and not socialistic farms. They're right now like very capitalistic places with hotels and stuff, whatever. But back then, he said, "Can you join me?" I said, "You'll play the accordion or piano, whichever they got, and I'll teach them dancing." So I did that all the time. Hebrew dancing. I stayed then on one of the kibbutzes once because I had been introduced to it, and I spent maybe 10 to 12 days or so. And I said, "Well, can I just stay here?" "Hey, sure you can, but you're going to have to join in on the work." I said, "Okay, get up at 4:30? "Oh, okay, great. 4:30? Okay, get up 4:30. Yeah, 4:30, then we're going to go out and pick our Jonathan Reds and our delicious green apples." Whoa, so got up real early out there, about 5:15. These things are just glistening, the dew dropping off the apples. Mm-hmm. And you just, oh, wow, they're little step stools. You put them hand in there real easily. Keep it to it. And then they said, "Yeah, you can try them if you want." So, oh my gosh, the juiciest, freshest, amazing experience with that fruit. But the amazing experience turned into something quite challenging after eating 7 apples one morning. I don't need to explain on this podcast what that
Sure.
was.
What happened next? Right.
Yeah, it was like, see you later. I'm
You got
headed
sick.
to a
Yeah.
place somewhere else.
Sick. We'll
Sick.
call it.
Woo! But those apples were so good. They got up. Okay, they got up 4:30 in the morning. They worked till 7. They had breakfast. They worked till 10:30, 11. They're done for the day. They take a nap. And then at the evening, they go dancing. And that's the routine, day after day after day after day. And I joined in on it, loved it. And what fun. And me being a new person there, a young person, to play all the music that people are having an amazing time around.
Sure.
I was well thought of because
Well,
of
it's
what
the
we
best
produced.
feeling in the world, isn't it? It's the same feeling we get from preaching the gospel, from bringing the gospel, right? Is the idea that we can give people something that we see gives them joy. It's the best feeling. I can only imagine what that must have felt like. And then especially for you as an American, right? So you were already different in the sense that you're visiting, your people, of course, but in the sense you were very much an American when you got there, and so it must have been exhilarating to see the effect that the music had on the people around you.
Very huge. It was, depth was palpable. I mean, it was like you could see it and feel it, watch it. Music's a big part of Judaism.
Was there anything that you can remember going through your mind around that time as a vision or a dream or something you saw as far as what was going to become of the Marvin Goldstein that the world now knows?
No,
Nothing.
not really.
No signals. I only ask because I'm trying to figure out at what point Marvin Goldstein realized that God had ordained you to serve a mission through music while you were on earth, because anybody who's watching this will be able to see the design that this was not something that, I don't know if you could have avoided this, Marvin. It seems to me like God had designed and set you apart before coming here for this specific role. When do you think you noticed that?
Well, I can only say that I thought maybe something like that was around, but not until after my baptism.
Okay.
Till after I'm 35 years old, I didn't see any ordained nothing. I didn't see any set apart to whatever, nothing.
Fascinating.
It was like, this is what I do.
You were just living life,
It's no obligation because of some label or something. Nothing. It's just, here's what I do. Here's what I love. People like it around me.
because it's not normal for an American 9-year-old to decide to, not even to decide to go to Israel, to even think about, oh, look at that, huh? Maybe I'll go to Israel and be great. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, it's uncommon. I know because I was a 9-year-old. I've been around a bunch of Americans. We moved to 5 different states when I was a kid. I've never met anyone in my life until I met Marvin Goldstein who did something like that. So it just strikes me as extraordinary from the very beginning. I hope that you know how awesome you are. So anyways, not to get sidetracked, but
you can keep talking.
you're
like
very
that,
humble. He's very humble, guys. And this is something that I'm reading a book right now called Good to Great. And what it talks about, it's a book that did a study on companies that were able to make a transition from being a good company, in every area performing well. He only did S&P 500 companies. And what he wanted to find was what was it about the companies that were able to make the leap from good to great. And there were so many examples. He did a case study. And what he found was, he defined what's called a level 5 leader, that were the common denominator in all of these good to great company transitions. And so he studied them. And in fact, the first thing that he said about what he learned about them is that anytime they had the opportunity, anytime they were praised, they would always kind of give it to someone else. It was God, or it was this person. It was a great teacher. It was this, right? And then if they were cornered, like I just did to you, right? They would give it to God and say, well, it had to be faith. But the common denominator, they would never. There's the humility. It was there in everyone, and I see that in you. It's really cool. So I get sidetracked. Forgive me.
Well, I might be the most humble person I've ever known, actually.
I like that. So, all right. So take us. So you mentioned your baptism. If you want to take us up to where your Latter-day Saint story begins, from where you're at there in Israel, that's going to be fascinating. I have so many questions because you're Jewish, right? And you just told us a few minutes ago that you guys didn't even talk about the New Testament or Jesus Christ. It was not even a thing that you guys even spoke of. But anyways, we'll get to that point.
It wasn't thought of. It didn't exist. It was just like a nothingness about that. It's just the whole world was possible, full, without it.
Mm-hmm. Complete.
Yep.
And so how long did you stay in Israel?
There for 18 months.
18 months, came back. And then what kind of music are you
Well,
playing when you get back to America?
One little touch here. In Israel, something happened that a vision I did see. I remember it exactly when, what, where, who. I was invited to a concert. I was 18 years old. It was told to me that Leonard Bernstein with the New York Philharmonic is going to appear on the Mount of Olives. Would I like to go see it? So I said, yeah, that'd be great. So we got out there. New York Philharmonic is a major orchestra in the world still. But Leonard Bernstein is one of the most gifted and well-rounded musicians that's ever lived in the modern times. So he's conducting, and I'm hearing the national anthem of the State of Israel. I'm hearing Candide that he wrote, West Side Story that he wrote, and Bernstein was magnificent, and he was all in it, and it just, it felt like I am that. I am that. I don't know how, but this is me. Not him, Bernstein, but this whole experience was just defining where I'm going, what to do, what to look forward to. An experience. I mean, I remember it. I remember the music that was played, everything. So whatever vision this 18-year-old could have, by setting himself up into seeing the best of what he's interested in, and look at it and watch it and see and hear and feel it and just see what it does to you, whether you're not ready for it or whatever. I mean, just that, what does it do to you, your soul? What does it stir up in your mind? So I'm watching it. I even have a picture of it. I'll share it with you later of me. He's at 18 and him, Bernstein, on the Mount of Olives.
Wow.
Mount of Olives didn't mean a thing to me. New York Philharmonic meant a lot
Bernstein
to me.
meant a lot, yep. I get it.
And he's Jewish, and so I heard it, felt it, even to this day. Okay, so obviously, when I say Jews, perhaps for me, didn't feel anything. I want to talk about Christ and nothing, just nothingness as far as Messiah and all, just foreign to it. But yet, to feel that depth of that performance and that how much it meant to me to be able to create what they were creating for others. But I wasn't into it enough I wasn't gifted enough, or I wasn't rehearsed enough. I didn't know I was good at it, but not real good at it. I didn't think I was ready. And I didn't even know what ready for what. But anyway, that changed my life then, even to today. I remember right then, 18 years old, and it's a long time ago for me. So
what changed in that moment?
A feeling of what life is about for me. The the peace, the beauty, the creating something that gave so much to so many. I never would connect it to the gospel, but obviously it's all connected to it completely. So all these experiences are bubbling up in this young man, me.
Yeah.
All kinds of experiences, which would then, later on, as if the gospel would start to look at it and be taught about it, would then support what I'm being taught. And so that's what happened. And that was happening a lot. And a lot of performances happened. Got back to Florida State University.
Go Seminoles.
Yeah, we're doing pretty good right now, actually. And then I was in the marching band and all of this stuff. And then I would get into being a grad student. Then I would meet my to-be wife. And we've been married for 52 years.
Wow.
And it's odd because you can be married into pre-existence, and I'm only 47 now. So I guess we've been married eternally.
Yeah.
Okay. That was crazy. Okay. Anyways, so she joined the church 4 years before I did.
Is she Jewish?
No, she was not Jewish. Presbyterian. And it was a shock meeting her to my family. It was a shock to her family that somehow everybody's so concerned of wanting to find a like kind to marry.
Sure.
And that was still something of value to them. To us, it didn't make any difference. But it worked out. So now we're up to basically back to Florida State University as a freshman. And then I would stay through grad school and get a master's degree on something we forgot to say. At 12 years old, not only did I add the piano to the accordion, but I added the French horn, which had to happen because I wanted to be in the junior high school band. The marching band didn't march an accordion or a piano. That wasn't going to happen. So the way they did, band director said, "Oh, you want to be in the band? Okay. What instrument you play? Oh, you play piano. Oh, good. Accordion. Good. How are your grades?" I said, "Oh, I get all A's, Mr. Director." "Oh, good. Then you're on the French horn." Now, I didn't know what that meant then, but I sure do now because I got my master's degree on the French horn.
Wow.
I play the French horn in Israel. I play the French horn in Austria. I play the French horn in major orchestras.
Wow.
And still play it to this
day. Do you have a French
day.
horn here?
It's right
Can
here.
you play a little bit for us?
What, right now?
I mean, if you will, or later, either way.
Yeah, I'll pull it out a little bit. Sure.
Okay, awesome. That would be so cool. Yeah, Bryant's waving the signal like after. So I get excited. So all right, continue.
So we'll be here till what, next Wednesday?
I know. Listen, if I could, I'll stay for a week. But did you? So you're playing the French horn all over the world now. It's fascinating.
I am. So anyway, the French horn was an amazing instrument. Got quite good at it, and even this many decades later, I'm actually in a orchestra now at Florida State University, and most everybody in it is 40 years younger than I am.
Is that right? That's incredible.
And I still love the idea of being better than them.
Let's go Twain. You guys are going to hear that a lot. And that's what Marvin's been doing for a long time. See, that's what's very unique. That's the thing that I keep trying to pinpoint my finger. And I'm glad I just said that phrase because that's really what the difference maker is, right? It's between what for some reason there was something that you were born with that caused you to do just a little bit more than what everyone else was doing when you found what you wanted to do. Once you had that feeling, you started to go what we call twain, right? Jesus taught if your brother should compel you to go with him a mile, to go with him twain. And so the idea of doing, double what's required to complete this task or to be good at this task. And so that's the defining factor. Very cool that and I see that that same trait in so many people that have achieved the things, that are similar to what you have. So cool. When your wife joined the church, what was your relationship with God at that time? Did it matter that she had joined another different Christian faith? Were you like, okay, like whatever you want to do, or?
Well, it was like, yeah, basically, it was okay, whatever you want to do. She'd met a lady at work that said, at that time, she was looking for some meaning in life, like a lot of people do at certain times. What is this all about?
Sure.
So a lady had noticed that she had a Bible on her desk. So the lady says, "Oh, what's that doing there?" She explained, just kind of look. She said, "Well, we teach that at our church. It's called the Institute of Religion." "Oh, really? What church is that?" Church
Okay.
of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. "Oh, fine. When did they meet?" "Okay, good. I'll go tell my husband." So she comes, tells me. I'm going, ooh, this is gonna be interesting response here. I don't know a thing about it. I don't want to know a thing about it because it has to do with anything to do with Christ. I don't have anything to do about it. I don't want to have anything. But she seems like she's happy about investigating it, so okay. So you go ahead and go. That's great. Good. She said, "Well, you're going with me."
Did you say, "But I'm Jewish"? What do you mean I'm going
Well,
with
I know I said that. I know I did say that.
Okay.
And she went, so?
Right. That would be my response, by the way, right? If someone said that to me today, I would be like, I don't, okay.
I said, okay, I get okay on her. Okay, let's go.